G'day everyone and welcome back to another Catch Up with Kiralee. If you're new here, hi, I'm Kiralee and on this channel we talk about all things costuming, cosplay and sewing related. And today we are going to talk about Bridgerton Season 2, The Costumes. Anyone who has been on my channel before knows that I am obsessed with Bridgerton. I love it so very much. And last year I did this review up here in regards to Season 1 Bridgerton costumes, and I thought I'd do one for Season 2 because there were some changes, and also I just need another excuse to speak about Penelope because I love her. Needless to say, there will be spoilers. Potentially. I'm going to try very hard not to give anything away, but just with the nature of this video, there may be spoilers. So if you haven't watched all of Season 2 yet, please go and do that first and then come back. I'll be waiting. However, I think I need to change my outfit. That's better. So as a starting point, I will say that overall, I found the costumes of this season to be leveled up from Season 1. They were amazing. Like, Season 1 was already very good and like just this crazy mix of historical and fantasy together. But then in Season 2, they like went and they ran with it and it was elevated again. Now, where this was most obvious to me were the ballroom scenes. And although we know that the main characters always have the most gorgeous gowns or the most elaborate gowns, not always the most gorgeous, but the most elaborate gowns, where the difference was in Season 2 for me versus Season 1 is that all of the extras in the ball scenes also had amazing elaborate costumes. The amount of embroidery and beading within the extras costumes this year was like far above that which we saw in Season 2. And I also liked the fact that every ball scene, they still did that kind of color theory, kind of gradual moving through the season that they did in Season 1. So that way every ball has its own unique feel. So in short, what I'm saying is that last season it really suffered a main character versus ensemble. You could tell just by the costume which ones were the main character because they had so much more work done on them. Where this year it really felt much more like a cohesion sort of situation, and it was like any one of the ensemble could be the main character in their own story. This really helped me to immerse myself in those ballroom scenes so much more than I did last year. And can I just take a quick moment to give a massive shout out to the diversity that we saw in this year's cast, especially within the ensemble. We had all different sizes and ethnicities, you know, doing all the stuff that we as the audience members would want to do in Bridgerton. And you know, it was so good to see some plus size characters in the ensemble that had speaking roles. It felt so good to see that, because we know logically that back in Regency time there were people who did not look like models, you know, in society. So I'm glad that that was finally celebrated correctly, or at least it's getting on its path to be correct. And what I also really loved about this was the fact that they were dressed just as nicely as the thin characters. Like, yes, thank you. There was no skipping out of detail or beading or beautiful things just because they were, you know, a larger size than some of the other ensemble and castmates. However, for all of the costumes of the ensemble, I will say that there was one really big letdown. Or rather, I think it was a great opportunity that was missed, and that was the Sharma sisters. And don't get me wrong, their costumes were gorgeous. They were just as gorgeous as all of the other costumes that were presented to us in Season 2. And that's kind of the issue. They looked the same as all of the other costumes that were in Season 2. And look, I get it. They're trying to fit in with society. However, that just doesn't play true, because these ladies have come from India and there is no way that they have got their entire wardrobe all completed within London before the show starts, because they have literally just arrived. And there is absolutely no way that the fashions of India, even the kind of English kind of classing within India at that time, would have the exact same kind of fashion sense as what is currently happening within London. It didn't ring true. And why this really upsets me, although they are gorgeous, is because India is known for having the most gorgeous fabrics, the most richest color palette, the most elaborate embellishments, the most exquisite beading, and we didn't get to see that. And to be honest, I wasn't expecting saris, although that would have been awesome. I was upset the fact that the only callback to Indian culture and kind of the amazing craftsmanship at that time was a pair of bangles. And I think that I would have really liked to see integrated more into their costumes that Indian craftsmanship that we all know is amazing.
G'day, Editing Kirili here. Since filming this, I have found an article saying that the costume designer made a conscious effort to include an Indian flavour to the Sharma sisters, most notably Kate with her deep jewel tones. The idea was to wear jewel colours of India and the Tun. There were also specific prints, embroidery and specific fabrics chosen with paisley print and gold woven jacquard, according to the article in The Independent. I still maintain that for me personally, it did not read clearly enough. Alright, let's continue.
But let's move away from that and let's talk about two things that I think were so good. So good. Two characters that were so good in terms of costuming that it made my little heart sing. Eloise and Penelope. This is Eloise's first year in society, and well, her personality and thoughts about the marriage market really hasn't changed from season 1. And yet she looks so regal and so beautiful in all of her ball gowns, although she looks so awkward underneath. Fantastic acting. And the thing about this is that the ball gowns were obviously chosen by Lady Violet. And to be honest, they are very, very pretty, but they also sing out to the world, hey, by the way, do you remember I'm Daphne's little sister? And what I love about that is that it's just another physical reminder for Eloise what she doesn't want in life. She really, really hates it, and she looks so awkward and so clumsy within those costumes. But like, if you just took a snapshot and a still frame of that particular image, she looks gorgeous. It's very Audrey Hepburn-esque, and I really dig the look, but she hates it. Where we see Eloise most comfortable is in her day clothes, and her day clothes are a lot more conservative. She's definitely not showing nearly as much skin ever as what she does in her ball gowns, and she's comfortable with that. So in short, what I love about Eloise in this season is that we have two very different looks to her. We've got the one on this hand, which is the day wear, which is conservative. It is one that is more in line with her intellect being acknowledged rather than her body, and she just feels comfortable, you know, being conservative. Whereas over here we have the ball gowns where she's uncomfortable, but it makes her mum so very happy. And she looks stunning, but it's not her at the end of the day. And I think that reads so brilliantly. This is Daphne, it's not Eloise. Now let's move on to my favourite character, Penelope. Penelope had an amazing wardrobe this season. And although there were very few that were like stand out kind of dresses, the one that did was the star dress. I loved this star dress. I feel like I need it in my life. The cut, the colour and the style of the dresses were all ever so slightly different from last year. They were slightly better and they were helping her look a little bit more mature. I want to put this down to the fact that she has a very unique friendship and arrangement in this season with Madame Delacroix. And I think that Madame Delacroix wants to make sure that her interests are best aligned. So she wants to try and make Penelope look as good as she possibly can, whilst also not raising suspicion from her mother, Lady Featherington. I honestly cannot wait to see Penelope when she uses her own money at some point in the future and essentially buys a new look for herself and reinvents herself. I feel like that is coming and I really, really can't wait for that. Now, the next point I want to say about Penelope is stepping away from the costumes, but it is still very much in the realm of cosplay, and that is the hairstyling. I know, hairstyling? Why is that so important? Oh, but it is! Her hairstyling in this season is a lot more natural than it was in season 1, and it really sets her away and separate from her elder sister Prudence, who has her own storyline this season, which is hilarious. Now, normally when we have hair out, it is a sign of youth and innocence and everything along those lines. And although that is true for Penelope, I think matched with her dresses, it just makes her look more appealing and actually more mature. And I really loved the play that they did between the costumes and the hair this season for her. It was like she's becoming more and more attractive and less like a doll and a plaything of her mother, which we saw in season 1. But we did see one hairstyle that changed the game, and that was the last ball, the Featherington ball. The last episode where Penelope has all of her hair slicked back. Very, very smooth with only a few curls pinned, just like her mother. Lady Featherington is known for being manipulative, calculating, and devious. But at the heart of everything she does, it is always coming back to the fact she does it for the one she loves, and also herself. The hairstyle at the ball, although so out of character for Penelope, at least from how we see it, it's a foreshadowing that Penelope is not all that different from her mother. Now, before I go any further, this is going to be a spoiler. Stop, this is your last warning. And it's at this ball that Eloise begins to notice, and the puzzle pieces are put together for her. This scene is absolutely heartbreaking to watch. It is the scene in which you see these two young ladies who have grown up together, who are best friends, who are so different to the rest of the other girls that they have had this very close, loving, best friend relationship for so many years. And that friendship just disintegrates. And it is a true loss of innocence for both girls. But it also gives us a potential look of how Penelope is going to develop as a character in season 3. Eloise as well. And with that, I honestly cannot wait for season 3, and particularly season 4, I may add. I really cannot wait to see how this all plays out, what's in store for especially Eloise and Penelope, but of course all the other characters as well. I really am excited. Why is it not out yet? Why has it not started filming yet? Come on. I should just read the books. I know I should just read the books. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you've enjoyed it, please give us a thumbs up and leave us a comment below what was your favourite costume from season 2. I'll catch you all in the next one. Bye!